All right, everybody, we are live on YouTube. Hopefully you can see that going on there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself on YouTube so we don't have a double piece there. And we'll go ahead and also get started on our screen share here. All right, everybody hopefully can hear me okay. So what are we doing today, everybody? Well, we are doing several things that I am very excited about. Number one is we are going to be using this new spreadsheet that we have, kind of a living list of what you need to learn. So anything that you are struggling with all of our tools at Exit Strategy, maybe it is two tools combined. I want to figure out where is the disconnect or where is the opportunity for us all to learn together. So if you have a tool or resource you're struggling with, or that you want to expand maybe your database knowledge or whatever else it is that you're struggling with, or starting to learn something that you'd like to share, all of that, just put the resource name right where you're seeing it here, then the specific question, issue, or idea you've got, like, well, can it do this, or how would I do that? And then your name is optional. So if you are not 100% feeling like you want to tell everybody else, that it's you that's struggling with a specific issue, there is no shame in my game, at least, and it shouldn't be in yours either. There's a lot of tools here at Exit Strategy, and we talk sometimes fast, and sometimes you don't need that specific tool when you're first presented an opportunity to learn it, and later on it becomes very valuable and you want to catch up. So we're all catching up at one point or another to something, and that's what I focus on with Betterment. Speaking of Betterment, one of the things that I think that I could do better would be to kind of keep a list of where things are in my library. My little mental library up here is not always easy to figure out and find where I have shared information, and we do a lot of sharing here, but sometimes I say something in one group and then somebody missed that group, or vice versa. So we're going to have a chart of where the answers are located, that you can just go easily find them later on too if you missed a session. So guys, please feel free to fill out this form here. That is a living list, so I will be coming back to that today. But I did, since this is a new idea, and not all my ideas instantly get off the ground, and some probably never should have even gotten off the ground, I will do some things that I know you had questions on before I come back to the spreadsheet. So I've actually created a outline based on, we talked about it on Monday night, and I just didn't 100% love what I had presented on Monday night. I think there was more of an opportunity to do a living list or a better outline based on some of the things that we talked about, and then some things that I thought about afterwards, as I am really trying to use Wise Agent to the max for my own business, and I'm figuring out things and learning things. I think some of you saw last night, I figured out how to connect it to Calendly. If you've got a Calendly professional account, Eventbrite, even the free accounts. So you've got all kinds of cool things that you can ongoing put information in. But what I started to chart out last night was this idea that there are certain considerations that you've got to think about when you are starting to build and as you grow your database. What I loved about Wise Agent, I've got that video out, the 12 things your CRM must do for 2022. I will not bore you with those again. What I will tell you is, though, what I am falling even more in love with over time is that CRM is scalable to whatever size business you're in. And so at the bottom, actually, before I move on, I did want to say this was some of the goals I want to get out of the mastery is, number one, tips and considerations when automating. I'm looking at a couple people on here. Some are more techie than others, and some are amazing high touch people that know a lot of people, and some people are really trying to get there because they don't have that natural network. I think this tool is amazing for everyone, and I look at actually every single person that's on this. Relis, I think I've known you for almost a decade now, and some of you, we coach and talk regularly, and we have only known each other a couple of years. I believe every business can scale. I'm going to pick on Aurelis for a second because I love that she's here. There is over time, Aurelis has been an investor, a amazing top agent, and also has needed to build a team around her because she's now working in multiple states and on multiple things. That CRM has to grow with you in terms of never double data enter. I don't want you guys to ever double data enter again. I want your database to become more. Okay, that means bigger, varied, detailed, and specified messages across a variety of media. That is really my goal when we come into this, is not only do I want this to be something that can grow with you and scale with you, whether that's building a team or multiple messages to different groups, but this CRM can grow with you up to 75,000 emails a month on the base account. Can you believe that? 75,000 emails a month. So think about if you had a database of 5,000 people, but you had some people in that database that you really wanted to do a specific type of newsletter to. Some of you are bilingual or work with people in multiple areas, different messages for different people. That is going to be a vital thing moving forward. So I really want you to consider a couple different things. And I think the first big point is, did we get all the information out of every single thing we needed to export already in terms of the natural database? So we're all at a starting point at some point, whether it's the day we turned on Market Leader, or sorry, Wise Agent, the day we turned on Wise Agent, or the day we figured out we didn't have enough contacts in there, or that we were tired of double data entering, whatever that line in the sand is, the first thing you need to do is figure out where can you pull pre-existing data from. That would be a one-time data pull. And so that, I think the biggest word there would be export. And so number one, clients in MLS. So if you are in the MLS, you've ever been in the MLS, you have people that you have obviously sent either a CMA to, done a search for, all of that. Some of you have been around a long time. Is every single one of those people, have you exported that information? That's one of the things we can go over today. Nick, how do I get that out of there? Second big place, huge place actually, LinkedIn. Did you know that you can get all the contact information for your database out of LinkedIn? That's why I love LinkedIn so much. It is a great tool. So, but that's you want to do a one-time pull on that. I don't think you need to pull that more than once. They actually, I think they only let you now with LinkedIn pull once a month, but you really don't need to, because once you're really in the groove of your contact list, your Wise Agent, you shouldn't be needing to do that ever again. Dotloop. Did you know you can pull all the information from Dotloop? So if you are in Dotloop, also you can do it from DocuSign. So I'm actually going to amend this slide here and put DocuSign next to that because that is you know what? That's a list. Also, in addition to that, there is going to be an ongoing sync from Zenlist. We worked on that last night. That was really fun. An ongoing sync from Zenlist. But then also right now, you've got everybody in the MLS before you were using Zenlist. Also just going into Zenlist and saying, okay, is every single one of these people that are currently in my Zenlist already on in my database? We're going to talk about that ongoing push in a minute as well. I'm going to add another one on here because this isn't necessarily the same as the ongoing sync. Do you have old email accounts? So not your current Gmail one, which syncs. Old email accounts of all different types and areas. You've got maybe some weird spreadsheets from other areas that we haven't even yet thought of. And so speaking of, because this is why this is a living list, you have Realtor.com and Zillow old inquiries, because anything ongoing, Dotloop syncs up. Anything ongoing, Realtor.com and Zillow will sync up. All right. But then there is those old pieces, old pieces. You should never have to take anything out of the MLS again in terms of client information, because ongoing, they're either going to be in what? Zenlist or Cloud CMA. Zenlist or Cloud CMA. And quite frankly, by the time I'm sending someone Zenlist, and especially doing a Cloud CMA for them, wouldn't they be in my phone, which syncs up as well? So those are those pieces so far on the where can you pull pre-existing data from. The fun thing is this is a living list, so we're going to keep coming back to this because I have a funny feeling this is going to be one of those presentations I do over and over and amend, because I built this list working on this for myself, realizing how much where I wanted to go and where I wasn't yet. Because my goal is to have a list of every single producing agent in Northern Illinois, sorted out by county, sorted out by a couple other things. And that list has taken me almost a month, because you can only export a certain piece of information in a database tool that I use for realtors, or for broker owner, whatever you want to go, recruiters. You can only pull out 1,500 pieces of data at a time, and blah, blah, blah. And when you're dealing with a massive database, that's an issue. When you're new, or when you're just getting into this database stuff, it's not a concern yet. What it is going to be a concern, though, is long-term, making sure we have people grouped right. But let's not even get there yet, because we are going to get there. And I want to obviously go back to our spreadsheet and see where we are getting questions already. So consideration number 2, where can you get an ongoing sync of data? This is the massive piece to me where I don't ever want to data enter, quite frankly, at all again. So I don't want to be data entering. I want to be data refining. So I'm going to put the goal here is data refining. But then note right above that, number 1 biggest thing for ongoing sync is your cell phone connected to Google Contacts and then connected to Wise Agent. Okay, so then that's number 1. We've talked about that. We'll continue to talk about that. That's such a vital piece. But then number 2, your Gmail. And by the way, I would strongly recommend that whatever else you're in, get out of it, get into Gmail, because Gmail is number 1. It's where everyone is going in terms of independent contractors. It's where the best tools are. The Google Chrome extensions are amazing, not just for Wise Agent, but everywhere. It is just the other CRMs that I've researched, the other tools that I've researched and worked with, and some of them I didn't like, some of them I did. Everything is Google based. It's Gmail. So please, ongoing, I want you to consider using the Wise Agent Chrome extension, because that is also a really easy way to, guess what? Get someone right in your database. So I'm going to use an example here. I have a wonderful friend who won't mind me sharing her information. So there is, her name is Colleen. Some of you may know her. And Colleen just sent me something on my friend's loan. It's in underwriting. We're super excited. So you've got the opportunity, by the way, to do some special things if you are using the Wise Agent Chrome extension. The Wise Agent Chrome extension, you can literally click on it and it says, where do you want to add the contact? And it's pulling the information right from her signature. So it's going to have first name, last name, whatever is in that information that's already on the email, and you can put them right in the right correct group. So that is a huge deal. So download the Google Chrome extension. We can talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Also, if you didn't want to download that, or you don't like Google Chrome as an extension or Google Chrome as a browser, you can also do it in Google Contacts. You literally can expand your Gmail account browser, and you can literally go over, even in, I believe, any other browser type, Google Contacts can pop right up next to your Gmail. But again, that's Gmail. So you really want to get into Gmail as your primary account. All right, let me get back into my spreadsheet here, though. are this next big thing, your exit tools, If you don't already have these connected, you want to make sure to get the exit, your exit tools set up on the API code. I can show you that if you guys let me know at the end, or well, not even in the end, just let me know in the little spreadsheet here. And if you're not at exit strategy and you don't have the spreadsheet, we're sorry, but you can absolutely ask questions to one of our exit agents, and they are happy to help you. And bet you would love to talk to you more about the company. Exit tools, API code. Also, the Exit Realty Connect app. If you don't have that downloaded, man, for on the fly, it is so amazing what it does. If you don't have it downloaded, download the Exit Realty Connect app, and that will also get everybody that you're using the Connect app with into your Wise Agent database. So then again, we talked about the goal here is data refining, that it's never data entry. Okay, never data entry. That is a big, big thing. So then I think we need to talk next about where can you get more contacts? Where can you get more contacts? So number one, landing pages. Landing pages. I'm gonna show you, depending on who goes where and what they need, in terms of the conversation today. There is a way to just do one Wise Agent landing page for everything. One Wise Agent landing page for everything. Because if I'm sitting there talking to someone and it's hard to get their contact information, they lie on pieces of paper. So if you have a paper, I've done this twice in the last week where I walked into one of your open houses or broker open houses and saw a paper sign in. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Because number one, you can't read their information. Number two, their information is probably a lie or incomplete. And number three, then you're really going to take that piece of paper home and make sure that you data enter it. I got some really old artifacts, I call them, where I have done the old paper spreadsheet. You've got the opportunity to not do that ever again by having landing pages, text codes, the expert marketing suite. And so any of your listings, the mobile business card, that's its own text code. And then the smart sign. So this is again why we're doing a live spreadsheet, is that there's always something that I'm either figuring out or you're answering for me. So the smart sign is another thing that anybody that's texting off your sign, all of that. Then lead inquiries from Realtor.com and Zillow. Lead inquiries from Realtor.com and Zillow. If you don't have that already synced up, I think that's important, because I am personally losing when I have to double data entry. I'm losing the contact so quickly. So that is a piece that I want to be able to show you, whether it's today, it's next week. This is, again, an ongoing living list. So if you get off this webinar and you're like, oh man, Nick, I wanted to know, don't worry about it. That spreadsheet lives right there. And that is going to be my driving force for upcoming trainings. I have asked for feedback over time, like, oh, what do you want? And maybe that's not the right day for you, or 2 hours after I set the calendar for the coming week, you've got something that came up. That's what I'm here for. My goal with all of you and all of this is to get everybody to a higher income, at least 100,000 GCI, because remember, then you're going to cap out for the year. I don't think he's on this training, but congratulations, Peter Lopresti. He is now the 7th or 8th, I think, this year to cap. That's huge. So we had Karen Mika last week. We got Peter this week. And once you cap once, it's a 100% commission when you cap for the year. And then the next year you go to an 85% base split. I can guarantee you, if you do not have your Wise Agent set up and are not using that as your main resource every morning, it's going to be hard to get you to the next level. If you have it set up, if you will work with me on these considerations, this is exactly what we need to do in order to get you to the next level. And quite frankly, my goal is, at least 10% of our agents cap, knowing that we take a lot of part-time and new agents. That is a tough call, but that is my call to push myself 10% of our agents capping. That would be 29 or 30 of you right now. And last year we had 21 people capped. So that's big. But then even more than that, I want to see some of you with multiple 6-figure income streams, over 100% commission. We already have several of us that are well over 100%. That doesn't mean you have to sell a bunch of real estate. Maybe that means that you're on your way to more of a mentor and teacher. But how are you going to even talk to those other realtors? You've got to have a database. And this is the product to do it in. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I've got 1 or 2 questions in the chat box. I would love to see them in the Find Out Friday spreadsheet that you guys have. But let me check out this chat box real quick and make sure that it's not something personal like, Nick, I hate the color green on you. All right, Darian, great question. Darian, great question. I actually am going to add this to the spreadsheet. So, okay. Darnisha, by the way, on the spreadsheet, you're in the wrong spot, but you're in great questions. Go on Nick's answer is you're answering the question for me. I actually want to know the specific question, like how to create a landing page. So just move that 1 column over and you've got some great questions. So move that stuff over and then the specific tool or resources name will be over there. I see people moving that. Thank you. Very much. I'm excited. Good questions in there. So let's actually go into Darren's question. I'm sorry, Darian, I'm going to read your question one more time to myself. Can you use QR codes at open houses as well?
It really wasn't. I'm sorry, Nick, not to cut you off. It really wasn't a question as you were kind of going through things that you can use for lead capture. You mentioned the kind of archaic sign-in sheet that you have seen, like when you're doing showings and things like that. I was saying, like at an open house, instead of having a sheet where people write their name and email address that you can't read and things like that, you can always use a QR code. I've heard you mention this too, where they scan the QR code to even get into the building. They have to put in their information, and then that's the lead capture right there.
Well, okay. So actually, I'm going to disagree with you slightly on it. I'm going to modify. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to tell you what I would do specifically if you love QR codes. Here's my concerns with QR codes. Is that unless that QR code is moving that person, because all a QR code is redirect someone to a website. That's the truth. A QR code only. So the QR code, I'm going to write this down on our spreadsheet. QR code only leads you to a website. Does that website have lead capture? So my answer would be only use a QR code. I love QR codes. They're really cool, but I want you to be directing them to a website then that has lead capture. I want you to take them to a website then that has lead capture. So for example, if I were at my open house, I could have just a general sign-in sheet for that open house that is really a landing page. It's really a landing page. And if you go into Wise Agent, and you guys, I am screen sharing now, I see, so good. Go into Wise Agent under the marketing tab and click on landing pages. Because here's the problem. A QR code is kind of like me saying, go to my website for more information on this property. And the website just tells them everything. And it's like, good luck. Guess what happens? This is part of my problem with some of the old websites we were using too. If there's not lead capture, there is no way to get further information to them beyond what have you done? Sprayed and prayed. You've sprayed out information and this is a great question, Darian. So you sprayed out information and you haven't done anything to help get their information for you. You know, I'm looking at my whiteboard walls. I do so much during the trainings. We've talked about relationship orbits. And if you don't have a relationship orbit going with people, and I'm actually going to add an extra slide in here. This is consideration 4. What to do in terms of what information do I want. what information do I want and how to group? So number one, I want to get from everybody, first name, last name. You've heard me say this so many times, but I love that we're recording this now. First name, last name, email address, cell phone number at the minimum. Okay. And then that is going to be the start of the relationship orbit. So if I don't have a landing page, or what about a text code? Text this number to get, so in other words, your digital business card, or if you were really operating at a high level and it was your listing, you've got the expert marketing suite. They have specific text codes for each listing. Now, if you're doing someone else's open house, doesn't really work as great. So I would just use your digital business card, which again, they're free through Exit. Takes 5 seconds to set up. And then guess what? You've at the very least got their what? Cell phone number. And then from that cell phone number, you're going to use Forewarn, which is free right here in our MLS. Use Forewarn to figure out who that person is. Now, hopefully, if you're at something like an open house, you're also having great personal interactions with them, and you can give them more information either through maybe, guess what? You're going to give them Zenlist. You're going to then give them maybe a cloud CMA as a buyer or a seller as follow-ups. So those are huge follow-up hooks, I'd call them, for value. And then obviously add them on LinkedIn, because guess what's going to happen on LinkedIn? They've met you for 5 seconds at this open house. So if you just gave a QR code, you have no way to get in touch with them afterwards, and you've got a 5-second impression. You put either do it as a landing page, or you just give them a text code to get in the property or get more information on the property. All those text codes are built out right through Exit for free. And now they move the cell phone number right into Wise Agent immediately. No double data entry from you. So no more QR codes unless the QR code puts them into a Wise Agent landing page for more information or an item of value like a Zenlist or a Cloud CMA. But remember, they've got to give the information out first. So that I think is the basics, like the baseline of that. So what information do I want to start off? And then getting the first name, last name, email address, and cell phone number. Once you've got a cell phone number and a name, then you are probably almost ready to get them on LinkedIn. And you would just use the lead enhancement. So I'm going to put that down as next. So lead enhancement. And this may sound very similar to what we call the relationship orbits for LinkedIn connection. Because the goal then after that is obviously to start to educate them using Room View, that you're doing this amazing job for all your other clients and you're so educated. That comes through the LinkedIn Room View connection. All right. So LinkedIn and Room View. LinkedIn connects with Room View. Everyone. So just remember, you've got that account. If for some reason you can't figure out where that email went that helped you set that account up, don't worry about it. You can tell me and we will get that done for you. But tell me, just shoot me an email, put it in the spreadsheet, text me, whatever. Right now we're going to focus on moving forward with the next piece of this. So Darian, great question. Do not do a QR code unless the QR code is going to a spot that you actually can get the rest of their information. So think about that. This is kind of like this overall thought of what am I doing every time that I'm spraying and praying. So like even a direct mail piece, all your direct mail pieces have to have a lead capture. You may see a QR code on a really good direct mail piece. And you know what? I had one here. I mean, I have one literally sitting on my desk that is for a solicitation, and you sit there and you scan it, and then instantly it goes to what? A landing page that says fill out your first name, last name, email address, etc. So I think this is a standard for everybody, that you've got to have that landing page going. I want to go back to the last slide and make sure that that is understood, that that's also going to be that your standard for social media, that is going to be your standard for social media as well. So I'm going to add that right in here into the landing page conversation. So you really, a text code or a landing page, that's going to have to be the standard moving forward for you. Otherwise, again, you're just spraying and praying. All right, so I'm having a little disconnect here that we've got some people chatting in the chat. Some people are over in the Find Out Fridays. Okay, so great. Okay, a couple different things here. So let's see. The Google Sheet, mine says view only. Well, everyone with the link is able to share. So if you are, okay, so everybody I think here is from Exit Strategy that is in the actual Zoom. If you are a public audience member, you're probably getting that information off of YouTube, and that's fine. So anyone with the link, because Tracy, I think you've got a couple different email addresses I can send that to. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the whole link right here. So copy that link. And again, for those of the rest of you that are not with Exit Strategy, that link is not for you and will not work for you. So, all right, hopefully that works now. Tracy, thank you for letting me know that. She's always got some great ideas. All right, so then I was so excited to create a QR code for the open house. No visitors. Well, we'll talk about promoting another day. Need to attach it to the database. So I'm not sure exactly what you're doing there with the link. I don't want to open it in case that's not a public link, but my suggestion would be a QR code that goes to a landing page. I would say, because you built amazing job, by the way. Even if I don't click on it, I know what that is. It's a Google Sheet. A Google form is wonderful, except that's still double data entry, and they're not very pretty. Maybe yours is probably better than mine. It's been a minute since I've done one because I've been doing all my landing pages in Wise Agent. So you can get Google Forms to, well, two things. You can export information, and that is actually a great thing to add to talking about exports. Our first link we talked about today, our first slide, we're going to pull pre-existing data from. You may have a, that's consideration 2. Consideration 1 is that you've got those old Google Sheets. You may have some Google Forms. You may have existing data in Calendly, because again, I can show you if you have a professional account. By the way, we are running pretty decent on time here. I'm going to try to get as many questions answered as possible. And the good news is what we don't do here, we will have the list for the next session. It's an ongoing live one. So Calendly, I love Calendly, as you guys know. I worked with the data people, the integrations people, I bothered everybody over at Wise Agent last night to get that working through what they call Zapier. If you've ever heard of Zapier and Zaps, basically it's like a third-party link between things that if something happens over here, it triggers a reaction in Wise Agent. It is not the easiest thing to learn. I kind of was self-taught last night, which made it longer because I wasn't necessarily doing it the right way at the beginning. But Calendly, Eventbrite, those are also places that you may have old information that you can suck out. If you've ever done an event, let's talk about events for a second. A non-open house where you've got people registering for stuff. I'm not sure if Annie B is on today, but Annie B has a really cool thing coming up. It is this actually kind of goes back to Darian's question too, or point. She's got a great event coming up. And so we coached on it this week. I said, this is beautiful. Amanda did a wonderful graphic for her. I said, I only have one problem with this. You're inviting people. Wonderful thing to spray and pray out, except how do you know how much food to get? How do you know how much XYZ to get? What if your attendance doesn't look that great and you need to extend the hours, make the hours smaller? By the way, how are you even knowing who anybody is unless you're going to sit there at your event and run up to them and pester them to get their information? I question if that's the best way to do things. So we agreed that a landing page might have been great, but even easier than that, Eventbrite, if you're doing an event, those take 10 minutes and are free to set up. But a landing page is also great. Either way, you just need to be able to get people's information. And if you're going to do an RSVP, do an RSVP so you can monitor headcount in advance. I hate seeing people, waste time and energy on an event that they thought a lot of people would come to and they didn't, or that they didn't have enough supplies, materials, et cetera, because too many people showed up, or they had a last minute venue change and weren't able to tell everybody. Trust me from experience, guys, that is the best way to do stuff, is do it through, if you're going to monitor an event attendance, Eventbrite makes it so easy. Everybody has it. And again, you can export all the old Eventbrite data if you've been doing events for a while. So I'm not sure if Lana's on, Victoria's on though. They do a lot of wonderful events. They may have a large database of old events, and those old events, they can't sync up on the news. They can't sync anything old to automatically get it in to the database, but you can export that as a CSV file. And then moving forward, do that Eventbrite sync. And then I do have, if you are a Zapier person and you like Zaps, again, I'm still learning them. But I did share and make shareable my Zaps for both Eventbrite and for, what was the other thing? Calendly, Eventbrite and Calendly, which I will share with anyone at Exit Strategy or my coaching. Beyond that, right now, we are really focused on agents that we're paying for the CRM for to make sure they get maximum value out of it. So if you are a stranger, I bet you Wise Agent has amazing help for you if you're struggling, because we just want to focus on making sure our people are really all on the same page and understanding that stuff. So we talked about consideration number 3, where to get my contacts, where to get more contacts, which goes back to those points we were just talking about. Consideration number 4, what information do I want and how to group? Let's talk about grouping. I'll go back to that idea of the lead enhancement stuff later. What I want to focus on now is how to group. So I want to go to this from a scalable, smart strategy for you. My goal with groups, and so grouping wise, I would like to see you have one of two things. Remember your limitations. And I don't mean yours personally, because you don't have any, right? The system has limited you to 2,500 emails a day through the system. That's not through your Gmail, that's through Wise Agent. So 2,500 emails a day through Wise Agent. But that means that, and literally I'm testing this, I'm pushing them on all their limits, 75,000 a month, but it cuts you off at 2,500 a day. I have tried it where literally I was at 2,502 and they're like, no, sir, 2,500 is your max, and it will shut you off. It won't let you send out more than 2,500 period. So 2,500 a day. But what I'm doing is then I'm staggering out in these giant groups. This may be way too advanced for certain databases that right now, but that's okay. I want you to think long-term, because this product thinks long-term with you. That's why I got so passionate about this last night. 2,500 emails a day through Wise Agent, that is 75K a month. Think of it this way. You could do a newsletter in English, a newsletter in Spanish, a buyer's newsletter, a seller's newsletter. I'm doing a newsletter just for agents, and I may even break it down by, are you an agent with a team and not a team? You can go crazy with this stuff. But the base to not go crazy is just remember, no, I don't think the group should be more than, any group should be more than 2,500, because otherwise you can't press that button. So this would be meaning 2.5K is max per group. But secondly, this is the second thought. What about texting? What about texting? You get 1,000 texts a month. And that also, you can send more than 250 in a day, but it's 250 wise texts or texting at once. So you can do more than 250, but you've got to go back in. Otherwise, you're cutting and pasting. And then also, just in general, overall, you've got 1,000 texts as your base with me that I'm buying for you at Exit Strategy. I know already a couple of you are like, well, this is great. I love it. Text has the highest open rate of anything. I want more text. So great. You can buy more than 1,000. But you have that one package that for me of 1,000. If you really want to get down to it, I'm going to put this down here. 1K total paid for by office. Then you'd need to buy more. So the big question is then, should your group be 250 or less, and only best groups get texts unless you buy more? And by the way, I want to say this commitment to you. I am on a long-term contract with Wise Agent. I worked in this product for almost 6 months before I bought it for the office. Same way with Zenlist. My clients love Zenlist so much. I just almost couldn't imagine not spending that money with you guys or for you guys. With Wise Agent, if there is a part of it that I see many of you using, let me say it this way. I don't see who's in your database. I can't see what you're sending out. I'm happy to have you promoting your charity events, whatever else. I want you to use the product to the max to build relationships, and whatever those relationships look like you, as long as they're legal and ethical, I'm cool with. If I start to see a lot of you really utilizing, like Nick, I get one landing page active at once. So you can build all the landing pages you want. You can only have one active and running at once at this point, using the subscription I paid for you. If all of you are loving and using 12, going back and forth between a bunch of landing pages, maybe that's where I spend more money when it's Christmas time. Holiday, I always like to give you a big announcement at the holidays. Maybe it is that we get more text per person. But right now, I can't see, and I will never be able to see who's in your database. That is your business. Unlike our previous CRM, more than one of us can have the same person in their database, which very rarely happens. But the nice thing is, all you need to know is, I don't need your database. I don't want it. But I do want to be able to see if you're logging in and adding people and sending out texts and emails. So it gives me a blind report that says, I'm going to pick on Aurelis one more time. Now I'll pick on Laura Bell. Laura Bell, our amazing in-house photographer. She is using Calendly to schedule her wonderful appointments with you for those paid 35 photos, virtual tour, floor plan, all that good stuff that we're paying for as the office now in your listings. We'll pick on Laura Bell. If Laura Bell is going to do all this mass texting, and that's great, I will actually, along with you and everybody else, if I see more of you doing that stuff, I will be able to expand our package. With Laura, if she adds a person to their database, I don't see, or with any of you, I don't see who that person is. I don't see what you're doing specifically with anybody, but that blind eye report says Laura Bell logged in 3 times this month to her Wise Agent. I'm using fake numbers, Laura. We don't know how many times. Well, we won't say it. Just kidding. She's been great with it. She's logged in 3 times. She's added 37 contacts, and she's sent out X number of Wise texts and X number of marketing emails through Wise Agent. I don't see what's in your Gmail. I don't see what's on your phone. I only see that you did an activity. I don't see what the activity was. The really cool thing then, guys, is we have a couple of people that are really excited and want to learn more. And I don't know if Natasha Murphy's on today, but they literally reached out to me. It was either from Wise Agent or Zenlist, because same thing with Zenlist. They don't show me what's going on in your account except to say, hey, you've logged in and they've added people and their people are active. I don't know who the people are. It's none of my business. That is so key though, for me to be able to help you. If you're like, I don't even know where to go. And I'm like, well, you got, 3 people in Wise Agent. What's going on with them? Let's work together to get these groups right. So speaking of the groups, what would those group categories be? Here's what I've come up with so far. And obviously you may have some different ideas. Groups could include, number 1, buyers. So potential buyers. And I'm going to maybe even put potential buyers Zen list to indicate those are the people that I've gotten into Zen list. So what about potential sellers? Well, wouldn't I be doing a CMA? So potential sellers, CMA done. Because how often is it that we have people that say, oh, I want to buy. Oh my God, great, you're a buyer. But they never even sign up on your Zen list. It's a seller, but they never even get you over to their house for a CMA. Is that really that? How much of a potential is that? So those people would be more of a like undeveloped buyer, or something like that. You can play with what those categories are, but I like those well-defined categories because that is just saying immediately, that is a person that maybe I want to send a wise text to along with everyone else in that group saying, hey, potential buyers, I have got some time this weekend. When are you available? Here's my Calendly link to schedule, or just text me back about the schedule, whatever you want to do in that respect. Same way with sellers, market interest rates went down. They went down under 5% on Thursday, at least briefly. So that's great. What a great thing to say. Hey, you're thinking of selling. We've done the market analysis. It may be time. Interest rates pop down a little bit. All right. So potential buyers, potential sellers, past clients, right? Past clients. That is a whole group. For some of us, that group has gotten so big, it's over 250. So I'm going to say past clients reviewed, and then past clients no review. Why is that? That's almost like using the word VIP. I started to group them that way, and then I realized it was confusing even some of you when they're like, well, VIPs, I thought they were over here. I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. Past clients reviewed, past clients no review. If they haven't given you a review, I'm questioning how strong that past client relationship is, or whether you got to do some work to fix it. If it is a past client with a review, yeah, they're your past client. I don't want to say a word, but I'm going to say it. VIP. They're your VIP past clients. They're your best ones because they've reviewed you. They like you. Well, assuming the review is good, they're good, right? That is such a great way to differentiate them because it really helps out figuring out who's who. Now, and again, it would keep you under 250 unless, now, if you are over 500 past clients, I think there's like, a few of us at the office that are. I have a third category, but I'm not going to do it to you right now. Let me know if you are over 500 past clients, and I will be happy to share that with you directly, because it's probably also time we talk about if you're at that level of building a team, doing some mentoring, doing some attracting of agents. So we'll talk about that later. You think I'm going to sneeze? Maybe not. That was a sneeze. All right. So I've got my air conditioning so cold in here, so I could wear a something decent for you guys, and it's cold in my house now. All right, so groups can include those. What about though? We hinted it. Oh my God, a group. What are VIPs? What are VIPs? VIPs are people, in my definition, going into the core training. VIPs are people that have not yet worked with you, but in terms of they're not a past client, they may not even be a current client, but they are people that advocate for and refer your business, or should. Like that family member that just doesn't seem to remember that you're in real estate, but man, they got friends that are buying and selling. They need to be VIPs. To me, are these the people I need to love on the most. Let's think of it this way. If I had, I was going to use that winning lottery ticket thing, but that's not it. Somebody won that. If I had not lottery tickets, maybe lottery tickets, but what if I had like Cubs tickets, Sox tickets to give out? but I only had 4. Do I really want to blast? So my database is hovering, it's big. It's over 14,000. We are really working, me and the, I don't know, the potato in my pocket. I have no idea who the we is, me and myself, because I really am the only person that knows how I want that database to look. You eventually will, I think we'll get to the point where some of you can use an assistant on that. But for right now, I have to do it myself because it's only, who else is going to know who these people are to me, right? Because there's no data on them yet because I didn't have them right in the database before. So the VIPs, I want to be able to say, okay, I'm going to give these Cubs tickets away within this VIP list, which means 250 people or less need to be in there. And overall, do I really want to blast an entire database of 10, 15,000 people, even 500 people with something I don't have enough of? Maybe if the first round of people doesn't respond, but if I'm giving something away, so this isn't an invite to something, it isn't a solicitation to an event, it is a straight up, you are my favorite people, and I've got a free something to give out. You're not going to blast that out to everybody. I'm certainly not going to blast it out to 10,000 people for 2 Cubs tickets because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to have the worst day ever. So think about that. The groups that you could do, the VIPs, I want to have that same relationship with. I have my past clients, but I need to work on that. So then there's one more category with, it starts with a V. That's vendors. Some of you have them broken down further. I do not, which should tell you if me owning part of a title company, I'm not trying to separate out vendors. I don't think that is the most important use of your data. Split them out between, okay, these are insurance people, these are mortgage people. Here's why. All those people should be helping you when you have an event. So I'd rather push a button to my vendors and say, hey guys, I have an open house on Saturday. I need your help. Who wants to volunteer? Do a Google spreadsheet. Don't they seem to be working out pretty cool? Do a Google spreadsheet and say who can do what, or just say text me, if you can help out. First come, first serve, because it is a value to them to be at your open house with you. Think smart about these vendor relationships. I'm putting them all into one category. There are certainly many additional categories we can play with and talk about later, but these are your big top 5. Because if you don't have this stuff separated out like this, you have one bland message to everybody, which is the problem that we've, I think, historically had as a industry, is that number one, you don't have people in your database and there's expected double data entry. So I want to get you through that hump by getting you over to Wise Agent. Number 2, though, even in Wise Agent, if you have everyone in a mess, what's going to happen? You can't customize your message. I'm to the point where I want to be able to send a different newsletter, if I really wanted to my potential buyers than I would to my potential sellers. I want to have them on different drip campaigns. Now, we're running out of time today, but this is the beauty of this, is that this is going to be an ongoing list of questions from you guys and of topics that I'm discovering. The drip campaigns, newsletters, drip campaigns, wise texts. The goal here, and again, I'm going to say here, is newsletters. So I think we actually need a new screen for this. Let's say consideration number 5. And I think that's where I'm going to end for today, is that slide. I'm going to say consideration number 5. What to send and how. So what to send and how, who. So let's think who, what, when, where, why, how. Let's actually, using my journalism undergrad degree, which clearly didn't go anywhere since I am not the TV reporter I went to school for undergrad. I'm several degrees that I'm not using. I'm just not that great of a person, I guess. But we are enjoying it in real estate because somehow I'm going to use those degrees at some point. So for you guys today, when to send and the who, what, when. Doesn't it sound like me being annoying with the business plan? Why, how, what to send. Well, we already said why, right? Oh, darn it. Okay. So let's say this. Number 1, you have to have a baseline. Well, you have to have a newsletter, right? I'm going to say with a little hint here, an S next to it. Because guess what? I am starting to get leads from a couple different sources that are very interested in me, one of which is American Sign Language. I have some friends that are hearing challenged. They have come to me and said, we would love you to be our realtor. However, you don't speak American Sign Language, do you? I'm like, nope, but I have a friend that does. You all have Google Translate. You know, I'm not saying that that's going to be a way for you to master a new language, but if you are a bilingual person, oh my gosh, what an opportunity to have different newsletters based on, so let's say this, different newsletters based on topic, based on topic / group. And also this, not just topic and frequency. What if you had a weekly newsletter for those people that are really hot to trot? A weekly newsletter. I'm going to focus in on versus saying just an email. You know, some of the stuff that I'm going to send out, I really want to have like videos in them, things like that. So then this goes to number 2, text. It's the most widely open. The e-newsletters, man, you know, still your baseline, but the text, and I think the way to get around that low open rate, let me just say this on the e-newsletters, low open rate can be counteracted with more interesting, focused topics. So relevant, that group, that specific group. So see what I'm really trying to do there is I'm trying to make you put people into the best group possible in order to increase the probability of the open rate. But guess what has an amazing open rate? Text, the highest open rate. But yet, according to the research I did last night, less than 20% of businesses have a group text, have a marketing event. We're going to call it again, what are we calling it? The marketing / event hotline. Less than 20% of people do, businesses do. And that number goes way down when you're talking about a specific independent contractor like a realtor. So marketing event hotline, that is your second big thing. That those texts. Then we're going to talk about a little bit about video soon, I bet. So video, that is the other big piece. So e-newsletters, text, video. We need to break down these into these drip campaigns. So this is all the goal of everyone is on some sort of marketing or drip campaign. I am looking up at the clock and I am sad to say we blew through our whole hour. I am really excited to say though that I think this is the beginning of a big conversation. I do notice that today we didn't have a huge amount of topics. There are topics that now we have them. Oh my gosh, this is great. Okay, so Tracy, I will get back to you because that's a question actually for the 4Wise agent. I don't believe they roll over to the next month. Actually, I know they don't because I asked that question. I'm like, I asked that question. What was the answer? I'm like, I remember I didn't like the answer. They don't roll over to the next month. Now, that indicates to me that you're already thinking big because you're like, well, what if I run out one month? Keep talking to me and other agents in the office. I have a funny feeling that the thing that will change quickest for us is you're going to realize how genius the texting is for you. I'll give you a quick example. The standard that I have is like, okay, the event comes out. So the event this month for us, you will have tonight, I think, you'll have the announcement tonight, the Eventbrite, all that kind of stuff. Just like Money Mondays, you always get the Eventbrite for me with a hint, hey, go invite an agent friend. Same thing for the public events. They come out at the beginning of the month. You could then put them in your newsletter if you're doing the e-newsletter, social media posts by the mid-month, and then the text code comes out probably last, but still I'd say a couple days in advance. When we did those really cool IV drips a couple weeks ago now, it feels like longer than that. I sent that out to my database and I had very little sign up. And I'm like, oh man, that's not great. Sent it out by Wise Text to the same database who's not very familiar with that number at all. because I've really been more using it on you guys, because you guys are such a big group. I've used, close to my 1,000 a month. And guess what? I had a huge response at that point. All of a sudden, the spots filled up. And I'm like, wow, okay, wise text. I'm getting the value even before I read that article. So that is a great question, Tracy. The answer is sadly no. No, but let me know when you are close to 1K 3 months in a row. Why 3 months in a row? Because I think sometimes we can do, look, I can send out a blast text to 1,000 people right now and blow through that. I want it to be where you do that 3 months in a row and you're trying to figure out what, like if you do it more than once, I know that you're getting some sort of result or you're refining your process. I want to see if really we need 1,000, more than 1,000, 3 months in a row from several of you. So keep me in on those conversations. And coach with me on that. That's a great question, Tracy. Talked about Darian's. Questions about exiting groups without having to go into each one separately, open houses and the referral. Oh, that's a great question. Guys, I actually need to go. I have an appointment that I'm already a minute into, but that is without IDX. Oh my gosh. HomeSnap, Zenlist is a search tool. And a blog. Okay. I love the blog idea. These are great. So Zenlist, I really want to go into Zenlist, not HomeSnap. Let me know why you would like HomeSnap over Zenlist, whoever that is, because I believe you are anonymous. Or it's just blocked out your names. The questions were long. These are great questions. Who is that? I don't know. All right. Whoever that is, you can be anonymous. But I will do the training on Zenlist. I'll do the training on Zenlist, how to link Zenlist in there, because you absolutely have to have Zenlist on your website. I will show, this is going to be a great follow-up with that. Landing pages, Wise Agent, landing pages and Wise Agent, then also the Zenlist connection into your website. Why? We'll talk about open houses at that point too. Yeah, I need to go to my next thing, but I'm telling you, we have a great baseline for this. Oh. I'm going to add a category. I'm not going to mess this up. Hopefully, I'm going to add something, and this is going to say, "Are you okay with a group share?" And then, is that something that maybe we could do together? Timing for answer, timing in a venue, preferred timing. So you can say one-on-one, small group. Maybe there's a couple of you that want to do it together, want to learn something together. So even if you're anonymous, say, hey, I'm okay with this going to be on the coaching blog or wherever that's going to be. I want to get this information out to you very soon. So guys, awesome time. Gotta go. And I will be back sooner rather than later with the follow-up. We may not even be able to wait till next week, right? So preferred time for an answer, yes. I need to know a little bit more than yes for the preferred time. Okay. So, you may, yes, okay, to a group. I think I know who this is. Last edit, Anonymous Ferret. That is literally what you're calling yourself. I love it. Anonymous Ferret, please put if you're yes in a group, and if you are cool with that, also maybe what time works for you. What day and what days and times? Give me more than one. Give me more than one, please. But I'm excited. Talk to you guys later. Thank you very much. If you are on our YouTube channel, feel free to leave comments there. I'm assuming those of you on YouTube are not with our office because you don't get quite the coaching connections. But those of you with our office, you know how to get a hold of me directly. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.